All right, lesson 10.1 is finding measures of central tendency. So in this lesson, we're going to start introducing the concepts of mean, median, mode, and range. And you are actually going to use your classroom's data set from your cookie stacking activity to actually calculate the mean, median, mode, and range for inside your notes packet. However, what I'm going to do here is just give you an example of a class set of data, and I will show you how to go about calculating the mean, median, mode, and range. So what you can do then is you'll actually use your classroom's data. You'll actually calculate your own mean, median, mode, and range on this part in your notes packet where it says our classes. So you'll take care of this part there after the lesson is done. So you'll have to go back. And what I'll do is I'll be sharing out with you what our class's data actually is so that you're able to look at the different numbers that are here then. So for 10.1, we're going to talk about mean, median, mode, and range. The mean, when we talk about the mean of a set of numbers, can also be called the average. The average, in order to find this, you're going to add all the numbers together and divide by how many pieces of data you actually have. So a lot of times people say add the numbers and divide by how many numbers you had. It gets a little confusing, so that's why we say go back and count how many pieces of data you have. The median is also representative of the middle of your data set. So in order to calculate your median, you're going to order your data from least to greatest, and then you're going to find the middle. So in order to find your median, you do need to put your data in order first. Should you have a tie for the middle, you are going to take those two tied numbers in the middle of it, and you're going to go ahead and average those. So you would add them up and divide by 2, and that new number is actually going to be your median then. So you can actually create a value if there isn't one that's inside your data set. The mode is the number that occurs most often in your data set. So you don't answer this as a 0 if there is no mode, because you can find one number which appears the most. It is possible for you to have no mode. So if you look at your data set and all the numbers only appear one time, you would write the words no mode. You would not actually write out a 0. That's a common misconception. Possible to have more than one mode. So for example, in my data set, if I have the number 15 that shows up 2 times and the number 17 that shows up 2 times, but every other number only shows up once, the numbers 15 and 17 are actually able to be my mode. So I'm able to have more than one. If there's no mode, write no mode, do not write 0. The final one that we have is our range, and your range is your difference. Just like what you did in median over here, you do need to put the numbers in order, and you will do the biggest number minus the smallest number to get the range. So here's our sample data set, and I'm going to go through and calculate the mean, median, mode, and range just to kind of refresh your memory on this one. So here's our data set that we're going to use for today. So in order to calculate the mean, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to add up the numbers that are on here. So 24 plus 22 plus 23 plus 26 plus 15. And I'm going to go ahead and write down that total, which is 110. And then I'm going to go back and divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there are 5 numbers here. So if I do 110 divided by 5, I get 22 for my mean. To get the median, I need to put the data set in order. So starting with the 15, which is the smallest, the 22, the 23, the 24, and the 26. From here then, I work my way into the middle, and it looks like this 23 is actually my middle number here. So my median is 23. Had there not been a middle number, I would have taken, for example, if it was these two, I would have taken them, added them, and divided by 2, which would then create a median that would actually show up in the middle here. My mode on this one, so looking through my data set, especially when I had them in order, this was a little bit easier. There were no numbers that repeated themselves. So for me, I have no mode on this particular data set. The final piece that I want to talk about finding is your range. So I would be doing 26, which is the biggest number, minus 15, and that gives me a range of 11 then. So that's your quick refresher on how to find mean, median, mode, and range. Again, you're going to take your class's data set, which will be shared out with you, and you'll calculate your mean, median, mode, and range for your class's data set then.